They decided to share their morning with me. Austin asked me to give a quick presentation about the artful practice of working from home. And we're going to talk about how working from home and dinosaurs are kind of similar in a way, which might seem strange, but we will explain it, I promise. And there we go. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, which I think everybody does, my name is Kira. I graduated from MacEwan University with a Bachelor of Communication Studies in 2019. I had to think about that for a minute. While I was taking my Communication Studies program, I worked for a British publishing company called Anthem Press as an editorial intern. And seeing as we're in Canada, I did all of my work here, which was lots of working from home. And I'm currently working as the Project and Communications Assistant at the Winspear Center Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. And because of COVID, I'm also doing that from home. So I've been working from home for about 2 years now. And I feel like I've settled into some good habits and some bad habits that I'm going to share today. So why dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are really interesting. A, because I wanted to be a paleontologist as a kid, and B, because they can relate to working from home in a couple of ways. One, dinosaurs are a little scary, and so is working from home. The idea of managing your work life and also your home life and having a balance between the two is a little weird when you think about it for the first time. Dinosaurs and working from home can also be dangerous to your health if you handle them wrong, if you're doing too much work or not enough work, or if just the stress of working from home is a little bit too much for you. And once you understand how to handle both dinosaurs and working from home, you can create a mutually beneficial relationship with them. I've hit a point in my life where working from home is comfortable for me. I sometimes actually do prefer it to going into the office because I have no commute. I walk downstairs, I walk into my music room that is now my office, and off I go. So, one of the very cool, there's 3 different kind of stages of working from home. The first stage is this one here, where it's working, it's fine, it's kind of cute, it's kind of fun, it's just a good time all around. Then you have the stage where your hands go up and you're like, I don't know if this is working for me. There's a lot of stressors coming at me. I think I just need to figure things out. And then you have the third stage, which is the giant dinosaur going, I am going to eat you if you don't figure out how to work from home right now. So when I started working from home, I didn't have any rules. I worked in my pajamas. I worked wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And that worked for about a week. And then I realized that I wasn't being as efficient as I could be. I was starting to lose track of deadlines. I wasn't really feeling like I was doing my best job. So something that I figured out is there's 3 different sets of rules that I follow working from home. You have the unbreakable rules, the rules that you can break on occasion, and the rules that just don't matter anymore. And we're going to kind of look at those rules and why they're in the categories they are, and kind of how they fit into the whole working from home idea. Unbreakable rules. These are the rules that if you break, your angry dinosaur that doesn't like working from home will eat you. Number 1, don't work in bed. Keep your workspace separate from your sleep space. Everybody's said it before. It's been said so many times in so many different ways for so many different reasons. But particularly if you get out of bed and you feel like you've accomplished something, even if it's just that one step. You can work at your desk, you can work on your couch. I repurposed my music room so that I can work here. Whatever works for you, just don't work in bed. Please don't work in bed. Number 2, if possible, don't work in your bedroom. Again, it's the idea of keeping your you space from your workspace. So if that means going and working on your couch, if it's nice outside, which it isn't today, going and working on your porch, sitting on your front lawn, whatever works for you. But if you can, keep your space separate from your workspace. Number 3, actually get your work done. I found that really difficult for the first little while that I worked from home because it didn't really feel like I was working because I didn't have a schedule. I wasn't like, I'm going to work from 8 to 1 every day. I worked when there was stuff to be done. And if I got it done, great. And if I didn't get it done, I got it done a little bit later. And that just wasn't working for me. So in order for me to actually get my work done, I had to set myself a schedule and say, okay, I'm going to walk into a separate room. I'm going to close the door and I'm going to work and not leave and not deal with any distractions from this time to this time each day. Number 4, maintain a work-life balance. So just make sure that you're thinking about how much you're working and how much you time you have. I find it's really easy to jump into a rhythm with work and I just go and I do everything that needs to be done. And then I look down at the clock and I'm like, wow, I've been sitting here for 12 hours. Whoops. It's really easy to get into that habit too, which is also bad because you really need that balance between your you time and your work time. So one thing that I find works is set yourself a timer. I will work for 20 minutes, get up, take a 5-minute break. I will work for an hour, get up and take a half-hour break. Just make sure that you're considering the amount of time you're spending on your work, the quality of the work you're doing, and how you yourself are feeling. Now for your occasionally breakable rules. Not working through meals. Ideally, you don't want to eat lunch while you're, hunched over your computer trying to type up whatever you're doing. But some days it happens. Some days maybe you took a break a little bit earlier in the day and working through lunch is just easier for you. Some days you're working on a project and you're like, damn, I'm really hungry, and decide to eat through it. That happens. Ideally, you're not going to do it, but it's okay to do it every once in a while. Number 2, staying away from distractions. Sometimes if your brain just isn't fully into your work, get up and walk away for a couple of minutes. If you have pets, go play with your pets. If you want to read for 20 minutes, just take your brain away for a little bit, give it a minute to figure itself out, and then come back. If that's a scroll through Facebook, if that's playing with your pets, if that's reading a book, if that's watching a 20-minute episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I'm very guilty of doing that. Sometimes distractions are good and sometimes distractions are bad. And I think you just have to kind of figure out where that fits best for you, if that makes sense. Number 3, close the door and walk away. That's why I really encourage having a workspace with a door that isn't your bedroom. Because when you're done work, just the physical aspect of closing the door, work stays in this room. As soon as you leave, you're not working anymore. You're not thinking about work. You're not answering work emails. When I worked from the couch for a little bit, I found that it was really easy for like 9 o'clock to roll around. Just because of the time difference, people would be emailing me and I'd be like, oh yeah, I can answer that email. It's no big deal. It's fine. But as soon as you start doing that, then you're on call 24/7. And if that's not what your job calls for, and if that's not something that you yourself can handle, it can get a little bit difficult. So I would advise being able to close the door and walk away if you can. If you can't, maybe just the physical shutting of the laptop is good enough for you. Laptop shuts off, you're done. But being able to have that ability to walk away from your work and not think about it anymore when you're at home is very important. Number 4, not listening to music with lyrics. This can kind of go both ways. When I work, I prefer to listen to music with lyrics in a different language. I find it helps me learn a little bit, and it's easy for me to follow. If I'm listening to, I'm a Jonas Brothers fan, if I listen to the Jonas Brothers while I work, I get nothing done. But if I'm listening to music like soundtrack music or music with lyrics in a different language, I find it's a lot easier for me to focus. That's different for everybody. If you need the music with the lyrics in order to keep your brain on your work, then you do you. But that's just something that I've found with my work. Then you have your completely breakable rules. Snacking. Please snack while you work. Please don't excessively snack while you work. But if you are hungry, this isn't like there's nobody else around, likely. They're not going to care if you're chomping down on something while you're working. Make sure that you're eating enough and you're keeping yourself healthy, and snacking is a good way to do that. Taking breaks. Again, this isn't an office environment. There's nobody sitting behind you going, he got up 10 minutes ago to go for a walk. Why isn't he back yet? Take your time, take your breaks. As long as you're getting your work done, it doesn't really matter how long your breaks are or when you take them or where you take them or what you do with them. You have that freedom. One of the things I will do is I will do my laundry. I'll set a timer. When the washing machine goes, I will get up, I will go deal with my laundry, I will come back. That will be my break. Then I'm accomplishing 2 things at once. Number 3, no interpersonal contact. One of the things that I found with working from home is that you can feel really isolated. Like particularly if you live by yourself, is you feel like there's nobody there for you. And one of the things that I've learned from that is picking up the phone works wonders. My boss works from home and she lives by herself in an apartment in downtown Edmonton. And we used to just chat by email. And now we pick up the phone and we have a call every day. And she said it's helping her a lot just to know that there's just to have that contact with another person. So maybe if you have questions for your co-authors, instead of sending them a Facebook message, maybe you call them. Maybe you have a quick video chat with them. Just creating those connections and upkeeping those connections is super important for your own health, your mental health, and the health of the people around you. And number 4, the idea that when you're working, work can't be fun. I found that working from home is actually a lot more fun because I'm in control. There's nobody around me telling me what I need to be doing, when I need to be doing it. I'm setting the deadlines. I'm making sure that the deadlines are met. Make it fun for yourself, because otherwise working can get really tedious and really boring. And you want to make sure that you're enjoying yourself and you're finding ways to enjoy yourself. That is super, super, super important. Work is always fun. At least it should be. I guess, yeah, work being fun is the goal. And you're going to try through your working from home life to find a way to make it fun. So there's a couple of important things that I want to pull from that just to reiterate, because those are the main points. Separate your work life and your personal life. You're not always on call because you're working from home. You have specified hours, and once those hours are done, you're walking away. The emails can wait until tomorrow, I promise. Again, closing that door, not answering those work emails when you are done. Separation, work life, personal life. Also, continuing to put your best foot forward. Just because you're at home doesn't mean you're on holiday. You still have stuff to get done, and you still have stuff to get done on deadlines. So set yourself a timer. Write yourself a list of things you need to do and when they need to be done. Organize yourself however works best for you, but make sure that you're still putting that best foot forward. You're making sure you get your work done on time and to the best of your abilities. And if that becomes a struggle, having a conversation with your boss, your colleagues, finding a way to make that work for you is super, super, super important. One of the things that I do is I have a sign like this on my door. It's the white thing that you can see right there. And it lets the other people that I live with know where I'm at. If, I'm working on some personal stuff that isn't work related, it'll be on come in, I'd love your company. If I'm in a meeting, I pick one of the meeting ones. Right now, because I'm giving a presentation, it's on the very last one. But it's just one way that you can help the people that you live with, if you live with other people, understand where you're at. Because that way, when you need that door to stay closed, the door stays closed. Some resources that you can use while you're working from home. You have Spotify, you have Apple Music, you have lots of different ways to bring music into your life. There's been a whole bunch of research, and I'm actually hoping to do some more research on the way that film soundtracks are motivational for work. My entire 4th year of university was the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. I think that was all I listened to, because as soon as I plugged myself into that, it was go time. The rest of the world was gone, and whatever I was working on, that was my sole only focus. So think about some of your favorite movies, maybe your favorite TV shows, find those soundtracks and see, just kind of test it out. what kind of soundtrack works best for you, how it works for you. Give it a try, see how it goes. For time management, I've been doing check-ins with my team. So we meet every Monday at 11 and we just chat about how we're doing, what's happening, if we have any questions, just keeping ourselves in contact, not just about the book, but just in general. Because like I said, there are some people that are working from home that are feeling really isolated. And this is the way to bring people together, even though we can't be together in person. Again, setting timers, making sure that you're getting your tasks done in a timely manner. And if you're having a little bit of trouble with that, finding ways to make your break times work or just keep yourself organized. Reducing distractions is really hard when you've got phones always there, always on. I've been setting time limits on certain apps. So I'm really bad for Facebook because Facebook videos are kind of addictive sometimes. So I would set, a half-hour timer. That's all the time I get on Facebook for the day. And I try and save it for the evening because that's my me time. So if that works for you, then great. If you want to only allow yourself distractions after the work is done, so say after I finish this chapter, I'm going to go watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then I'm going to come back and write another chapter. Or if you want to bribe yourself, I cannot watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine until this chapter is done, ergo I must finish it. Whatever works for you, but finding ways to keep the distractions outside of the room that you're in is very important, and it's very helpful to ensure that you've got a really healthy working environment going on. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any comments? Does anybody want to share any work from home techniques that are working for them?
No questions. Thank you. That was an awesome presentation. I've been working from home for the last, years or whatever as well. And, I am completely chaotic and I haven't set out like any roles for myself. And I've been maybe inspired to, do so today because I agree with you that it's, it's not always the most, efficient way to do things or,
it works differently for different people. I think my biggest thing was I was working multiple jobs and I was finding it really hard to make sure that I was getting the right amount of hours for each of them because it's really easy to start on one thing and then just ignore everything else, or start a brand new TV show and then be like, I'll work for 20 minutes and then go watch an episode and then work for 20 minutes and watch an episode and then you get nothing done.
Yeah, it's true. And sometimes you just do you ever have it where you just spend way longer on a task than it should have taken you? Just like
yes.
You're done at like 2 a.m. You're like, wow.
Yep, 100%. So even if it's saying I will spend 6 hours on this and no more.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was great.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Well, of course.
Peter and or John, do you guys have any questions, comments?
Sorry, I'm just muting because there's a lot of background noise here, but yeah, I thought it was really great. I really liked your dinosaur analogy. And I also found that like the idea of like having like instrumental music in the background, I find that that's really helpful too, because it's for me, like I find that really helps. I usually put on like jazz music, like soft jazz, like coffee shop type of music, and I find that when I'm studying or doing something like a little bit more like brain heavy, I usually find that I can work better in that type of mode. And then I found like the same, like if I'm on a playlist or something and it starts like playing songs with lyrics, I just sort of start jamming out to that and then stop doing work. So, like I think those are like really great suggestions, and I will definitely keep them in mind for my own work going forward. So great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me present. Thanks for coming. And I hope something that I talked about is helpful for you guys as we move forward working from home.
All right. Awesome. 100%. Thanks, Kira.
I
realized I was pronouncing it wrong.
Your doorknob